Joining us now is a man who might have a little bit more information on all the moves that we saw yesterday. He's an insider everywhere, has friends literally in every single building. Now he's with ESPN, formerly Emmy Award winner at NFL Network. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Schrager.
Yay!
Schrags, how you doing, brother? We're talking about Kyler Murray. Any thoughts on that entire situation over there?
I'll tell you this. I was there Monday for that Monday Night Football game, and I'm walking around the field before the game, and I'm, talking to everyone, doing my thing, kind of kissing babies, shaking hands, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in Arizona, was talking about Jacoby Brissett and how good he had been the last 5 weeks, and what a shame it was that he wasn't able to get the victory. And they had 3 walk-off field goals. And the elephant in the room is there's Kyler Murray standing there. He's dressed in a Dallas Stars jersey. He looked great. And he's there on the sidelines. And he was 9-0 in his life, going back to high school, college, and the pros in that building. And he was just a complete non-factor in this game because he was out with the injury. But the juice around Jacoby was so real that I came away from this one thinking, I don't know if they're just pumping him up or not, but there's maybe a future with Jacoby Brissett as the guy there. The problem is Kyler's contract the next 3 years, it's over $100 million in dead cap space. So what do you do with that? But in a post-Russell Wilson era where teams just say, rip the Band-Aid off, that might be the move. I'll say this. They are still paying Cliff Kingsbury his full salary. They are still paying Steve Keim his full salary. Those guys are from a different era. Those are the guys who brought Kyler in. These new guys, Gannon and Monty Ossenfort and his crew, they didn't draft Kyler. They didn't sign him to that extension. And if you go to the owner and say, hey, we tried it for 2 years, we're going to move on. We got to take a financial hit. We'll figure it out. They might be more open to it than if they were the guys who actually drafted him.
That's crazy. Yeah. Anytime you got a new GM or new coach, new power, you have new allegiances and new loyalties and new visions. How you see a team being is not necessarily the team that you've inherited whenever you're in charge. And I experienced it. We got a new GM, and I was literally told during the negotiation process that there is no loyalty between us. And it was like, really?
Wow.
Yeah. I was literally told that piece of information. It was like, oh, okay, sounds good. So I'm gone, I guess. And then Jim Irsay says, nope, you're franchise tag, brother. You're not going anywhere for at least a year. We're going to figure this shit out. And I was very thankful for Jim for that. But there was certainly a time where new GM came in, and I was not a good punter, but I'm low man on totem pole, and I'm being told that. Couldn't even imagine whenever it's 20% of your salary cap, 22% of your salary cap as you're trying to build this team up. It takes a lot of courage to make that decision. On that note, the big 3 here in Indianapolis sign off on a massive trade to get Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts. He'll be wearing the number 1. Obviously, 2 1s and A.D. Mitchell go to the Jets. Everybody that knows Sauce has said, man, awesome dude, awesome in the locker room, awesome player. You're going to love him. Fans and some other people say the Jets are getting 2 firsts and A.D. Mitchell for just Sauce Gardner. What is your take on how this trade played out? And I don't want to say winners or losers, but just maybe your takeaway from it all.
I loved it for both sides.
Whoa!
Indianapolis first. That was a little trick. Indianapolis first. This is a team that looked at their roster and said, okay, we're not this young squad of just first and second year players. Like DeForest Buckner is a veteran, and Quentin Nelson is a veteran, and Kenny Moore, and those guys deserve us to go all in at their ages and what they've done for the first half of this season to go all in and make this move. I will tell you, speaking to sources around the league and with both these teams, Chris Ballard has been calling around the league for a move over the last several weeks. Sauce Gardner's name was not mentioned, but he had been calling the Jets about players on their team because they were obviously in a fire sale mode. About 48 hours ago, Sauce's name came up, and the Jets were not looking to trade Sauce Gardner. Remember, the same first-year GM who just traded him, Darren Muji, signed him to a 4-year, $120 million extension in July. And this is his first year, his first massive move on the defensive side of the ball. But when that deal came in, it was almost described as like a Godfather deal that they offered that they could not say no. So I like it from the Colts side because Ballard looks at it and says, all right, we've got a veteran team. They're all healthy. We're playing good ball. We've got a crazy tough stretch coming in the next 4 weeks. We need to stay on the ball. This guy makes us that much better in an area of weakness. And from the Jets part of it, they just got what essentially the Cowboys got for Micah Parsons for Sauce Gardner, who's got 18 career wins in 4 years there. So they weren't going anywhere. They haven't won with Sauce and Quinnen. They were like, crap, we can't say no to that. And to Ballard, like, all chips on the table. Here we go. Like, we're all in on this team.
Big swing, and if Sauce is the one that lifts this defense to, to a place where we can win a Super Bowl, who cares about the future draft?
Exactly.
BA said yesterday, whenever we got Gronk, the 4th round came around, we didn't have our pick, and we all just looked at our ring. Oh, there's our 4th rounder right there. There's our 4th rounder right there. That's pretty nice, and then we move along. First rounder, obviously different than a 4th rounder, but if this works out and we win, nobody will say a damn thing about anything else.
I love it. You're right. And it's the same thing that talking to McVay and Snead over the years when the Von Miller deal happened. Now, people always talk about that team and it's F them picks and they got Ramsey and they got Odell and all this stuff. Von Miller was the move at the trade deadline. They called Denver every day for about 2 weeks. And then finally, the last day, they were just banging on it so hard that Denver said, fine, take Von Miller. Here, we'll get the exchange. That's what this was. And I came on your show last week. And I said, don't read all the stuff online. Don't listen to the thing. There's going to be a big name, but those names don't even become evident until the day of. I said that on this very show. I said, don't read, don't get fixated on the names that everyone else is talking about. There's going to be a big name that goes the day of, and that was Sauce Gardner, because I will tell you, Sauce had no idea he was being traded. Other teams around the league were texting me being like, did you know he was up for sale? I'm like, he wasn't up for sale unless you offer 2 picks and a wide receiver that they can use on their team today.
I like that the culture that aggressive. They're going to be judged for it going forward.
Oh, yeah.
And I think our team is in a good spot. Lou Anarumo told us he's happy. He's pumped up. Love the addition. He, it elevates the entire defense, what he just did for the team. Lou Anarumo is so excited. Remember, think about where Lou was and what was going on, okay? Losing all his players. We're not paying. Yeah, right. Defense? Stupid. Nobody's paying tickets. Nobody's buying shirts. We're selling jerseys on offense. We're not selling jerseys on defense. We're not paying any of your guys on defense. Lou's like, well, what am I supposed to do here?
Figure it out.
He loses. They say, get the hell out of town. Chris Ballard,
He's left
Shane
helping the
Steichen,
bag.
immediately, excuse me, you're available right now? Yeah, we would love to have you. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to sign 3 guys this offseason on defensive side. And then right before trade deadline also, we're going to give you a guy, another lockdown guy. It's like Lou Anarumo sitting in a place that I assume any defense coordinator would love to be in.
Yeah.
Team clearly investing on the defensive side of the ball while assuming that the offense is already figured out. If this works, that's great. Now, on the flip side of that, this New York Jets team seemingly sending a message. You said fire sale. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yeah, absolutely. Fire sale, just a full rebuild, letting go of these young, phenomenal players that you already paid. Like, what's the vibe around Aaron Glenn? Do you feel like they'll be patient with Aaron Glenn and actually let him build? You would assume they're going to use this draft capital and go get a quarterback, kind of start that new chapter. But we've seen the Jets do this time and time again since probably Rex Ryan's departure. So what's your thoughts with Aaron Glenn and the patience level with him?
You have to try to separate the history of this team, which has been plagued with, quarterback selections in the top 5 that haven't panned out and have had success elsewhere, and where they're hoping to go. I will tell you this, a lot of the organization was at the Mangold services yesterday, and they purposely held any news of these trades until afterwards. And Darren Muji was like, I'm well aware of what's going on right now this morning during the thing. I'm not going to try to make a headline here. However, the night before, these deals were pretty much done and put to bed, and they felt comfortable because now it gives them the flexibility to do what they want with a quarterback. We know that this isn't going to be the quarterback draft class of 04 or even 2023 or one of these groups where it was coming out like, hey, there are 6 guys. In fact, every week it seemingly changes who's the guy. So what this does is having 5 first or second round picks in the next 2 years, it gives you a little wiggle room. Do you want to trade up to get one in 26? Do you want to stay pat and get one in 26? Do you want to save that for 27? Use those picks to maybe get one? Or do you want to package them and get a veteran quarterback in a monster trade because you've now got 5 first or second round picks? This didn't exist before yesterday. They didn't have this flexibility. They have this flexibility now. And before we say, well, the Jets are going to screw it up, let's give them a little grace. Darren Muji's actually have a pretty good draft. If you look at those rookies on that roster right now, they're playing pretty well. And the offensive line, which was what the focus was, has been really good. So let's see about it. Let's give them a little grace. Let's give them a little patience. But you can't hold regimes of the past and the failures of Zach Wilson and the failures of all the different quarterbacks that have come through here. You can't put that on Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn just yet.
Well, they paid Justin Fields $20 million a year. Now, obviously, that is who they thought was going to be their quarterback. Maybe he will be. I mean, who knows how the rest of the season goes. And maybe they will save it for 2027. That's an interesting thing you say. You can't hold the regimes of the past or the current regime kind of their feet to the fire for the past regimes. Jets fans are. Jets fans are just
Big
like,
time.
yep, that's what we thought. We'll trade away all our young, good players to try to find other good young players, and then that'll work because we hit on these guys. These guys are really good. Look, other teams are willing to give up 2 first-rounders and a wide receiver to get this guy.
No doubt. And that's the thing. Those guys, that 2022 draft that Joe Douglas and Saleh did got them, obviously, Garrett Wilson, who is the offensive rookie of the year and is a solid receiver. Sauce Gardner, who just went for 2 first-round picks. Jermaine Johnson, who's an outstanding pass rusher. And Breece Hall. You're looking at those 4 names, and you're like, gosh, they all panned out. And guess what? Even with all those guys, they stink. Even with all those guys playing well, they stink. Quarterback matters, and it's becoming more and more evident every single day. And whether it's nature versus nurture, and look, Sam Darnold's awesome on Seattle. He wasn't great with the Jets, and Zach Wilson might have a fine NFL career. Didn't work with the Jets. You have to keep swinging the bat. You have to keep trying. But all those other players, those guys drafted pretty well. It doesn't matter if you don't have a quarterback, and that's where they're at right now.
They kicked Aaron Rodgers out of the building. He's having an okay year for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No doubt.
They outpaid everybody for Justin Fields. Sam Darnold was available from what we're understanding. So I'm not saying, hey, let's make sure we give this current regime a chance here, but they're the ones that brought in Justin Fields and it's not working, right? Aaron Glenn's the one that kicked Aaron out of the office immediately upon walking in after he flew 4.5 hours over there. So it's they've made a couple decisions here early, right? We've seen them already. And now they're halfway through their first year and saying, next year's our first year.
That's right.
Next year's our first year. Next year's our team. I would like to wish Aaron Glenn, who I am a fan of, good luck in this entire venture. But if you're a Jets fan, I'm sorry, man. I am. I'm sorry. Because one of the most entertaining guys in the entire NFL now gone. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, poor kid
Yeah.
crying.
Get another team.
That's the first time he's experienced what life is as a Jets fan.
No, he said in it too. I don't want to be a Jets fan anymore. His
Greeny
dad said,
pointed it out.
Don't worry. I'll buy you a new jersey.
That's it. He's wearing a Quinnen Williams jersey in the clip. It's you can't even make it up.
Exactly. Speaking of Quinnen Williams, Schrags, I guess maybe that wasn't a shocker to some people. But
you said that. Yeah, you said it wasn't a shocker.
Yeah, exactly. But what was kind of the idea around that whole thing? I saw a lot of people, Dallas fans in particular, kind of pissed off because it was kind of like, hey, we gave up everything we got in the Micah Parsons trade to get Quinnen Williams, and especially given what their record is and all that kind of stuff. How did this come to be, and does this kind of are the Cowboys, did they just flip their defense? Are they all the way back now all of a sudden after getting Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson?
No, they're improved though because of these guys. You look at the 4 names: Kenny Clark. These 2, obviously, Logan Wilson is a good linebacker, as much as people have been rolling their eyes because that was not some slam dunk, headline grabbing move, and we thought we were getting one. Quinnen's legit. And then Overshown comes back. So there you have 4 guys, at least you can say they're going to not be run all over by Bam Knight and DeMarcado next time the Cardinals come in on a Monday night. This fact of this is they're 3-5-1. And I don't know if this team is going to the playoffs, and I don't necessarily think they are. They do have a rest of the season to play out. And in those games, they've got a primetime game against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. They got a Sunday night game against the Lions. They got a Thanksgiving Day game against the Chiefs. They've got a 4:00 window with Brady and Burkhardt doing the Eagles game. They've got a Christmas Day game on Netflix that we're going to have to do flips over where they play the Commanders. So they're going to be on TV a bunch in your face. And I think, honestly, at the end of the day, Jerry was like, we have to stop the bleeding. He already put it out there saying earlier in the day he had a trade in his back pocket. And he was hot to make a trade. I think Jerry was hot to make a trade. And I will tell you, talking to the people around the league, there wasn't an offer as good as this. And when it's out of division and out of conference, and it's a 28-year-old guy that we like, but I don't necessarily think we're winning because of. And his career record with the Jets was 31-67. I think it's okay.
I appreciate the angle that you're spinning here. The Sauce Gardner won 18 games. It's Sauce Gardner won 18 games. That's a wild.
I think as a whole.
That's a wild.
As a whole,
yeah, but that's what you just said, though. That is. I understand the narrative is we have them on our team now. We can't win, so we have them not on our team. We can't
not
win.
Them. They were the reason they won any of those games. That's the problem. And it's well,
that's why you were trying to get young guys that are good. Is the entirety of what you're doing in the draft. And it's I guess they already paid these guys, so they're not considered young anymore, I guess because they're already taking up so much of the salary cap. But just being able to replace greatness, I mean, All right. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
We are excited about it. Now, on the flip side, if I was building a team or in my first couple years or first year with the team, and I was offered 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years to build this team up in my kind of view and vision, I would certainly say yes to that as well. And now, granted, would I say, 18 wins this corner? 18 times we got to say yes. Yeah, 18 times we got to say, yeah, it was fun.
Cornerback wins.
This guy. Yeah, I mean, that's just, but I understand the narrative is,
it was more of the collective.
Sucks.
We've had these great young players. We suck.
So let's get some new great young players. Maybe we won't suck.
Try.
Yeah, let's at least give it a go.
Got to get a quarterback.
Okay, so Jets fans should be excited. Jets fans are pumped.
Like
They're
5 years from now. Like 5-6 years from now, you can be super excited.
No, the Jets are actually going all in on the future. So the future should be bright. Now, the future's not right now, okay? We got 9 more weeks.
Right. And you know what?
This thing is going to happen.
You know what I did see as well is they traded, kind of a bunch of like stalwarts franchise players and then hit them immediately after with, boom, we're raising ticket prices next year.
No.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
They wouldn't do that.
Is that why Jets, 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 Jets? Is that why Fireman Ed's pissed?
Probably.
Well, do we have a health and wellness check
Is he pissed?
on Fireman Ed?
Oh, he's got to be.
He's got to be so upset, dude.
I think he's pretty pumped to retire for the 4th time.
What?
He might be on another golf trip.
Fireman Ed ran towards fires, not away from him. He's allowed to go golf whenever the hell he did.
And he left early to get there in time.
What are you talking about?
His golf trip.
Well, it's the boys. You want him to show up the
Cincinnati.
boys?
That's what I'm saying. He said I left the golf trip early.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yes, it certainly is. The end of it, too?
Probably a sweet golf trip.
Oh, my God. Imagine how many times.
Every tee box. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, before every shot he
We're
hits.
at the halfway house. Do it again, Ed.
Run it.
Yeah.
They walk into the halfway house. There's like a little snack in there. 2 people accidentally in there at the same time. You want to see it? Yeah, you do. Hey, Ed, we love you, man. Sorry you've been battling so
That's
publicly.
a good bit.
That is a good bit. We got a lot of good stuff going there. Okay, let's talk a little bit about yesterday. AQ Shipley has a question for you.
Yeah, obviously we keep talking about all of the trades that did get done. What was the closest deal yesterday that didn't get done?
Oh,
I was surprised, AQ, that there wasn't a fire sale in New Orleans. Now, I know they gave away Penning and they also traded Shaheed. But to me, I thought all those veterans, those guys, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara, all those guys could be up for sale because that team's going nowhere either. And yet, they held on to those guys, even after a terrible loss to the Rams. So those guys will finish the year. And if I was thinking as a Saints fan, maybe like the philosophy the Jets had where it's, hey, we're not going anywhere. We got a bunch of veterans. Let's unload them because there was interest in all those guys, but they didn't make those deals. The other name was that was being tossed around a lot was Breece Hall, and the Jets didn't trade him. That was more of like hey, that's our best offensive player this year. We're actually in on Breece Hall. And if he goes somewhere else in free agency, we'll get a compensatory pick that might be better than the value of what we were getting offered for him. So I was looking at the teams that were obviously sellers, and some guys weren't sold, and it was just like, well, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze to get rid of them for like a 5th or 6th round draft pick.
I like whenever, is this good business for both of us comes to play, at the very final hour, whenever we're right up against it, are we going to do this or are we not? And it's like, well, I don't think we're getting good. You don't, and you kind of back out of those deals, always chirping, always chatting. That's why when these big ones happen, the amount of courage it takes to get that fun, because,
do it.
Schefter was reporting yesterday about how the deal's not done. The deal's not done. Quentin Williams and Dallas Cowboys. He goes, we're close. It's like, that's sometimes the hardest. When you're in goal
100%.
line, pre-tush-push days, when you're in goal line, those are the hardest things to get. Negotiations and contracts can be that way as well. So to get to that point and then actually make it happen is a huge deal. So if your team's a buyer at all, like we are, so many people probably said, probably not, probably not, probably not, probably not, probably not. So for your team to say, yes, let's go for it, that's why trade deadline day is so beautiful. It's like, okay, now we know in the building they're going. Mm-hmm. Now we know that they view it the same way we do. You know what I mean, Schrags?
Yeah, and it's become different. It wasn't this way 5-10 years ago. It was more incentive to just keep your guys and just ride it out. But I kind of loved yesterday because teams were taking swings and other teams were being honest with themselves and looking in the mirror and saying, the Jets case, like, what are we? We're not winning with this. So the other part of that, like Dallas deal, there was other teams that were calling about Quinnen. But when you start saying like the particulars of like, all right, we're going to get the better of your 2 picks when it's the Dallas pick or the Green Bay pick because of Micah Parsons, and you're going to give us the better of your 2 picks. That's the nitty gritty. That's the stuff that usually holds deals up. But both sides were motivated enough to get it done, and Jerry bent on that one. And now the better pick between the Packers and the Cowboys will be going to the Jets.
Jerry Jones threw the snowball straight up into the sky. Here's Logan Wilson. I told you I got a trade coming in my back pocket.
Right.
And then Quinnen Williams. Great afternoon.
Bang.
Dallas Cowboys, I always stir some shit up. I told you literally yesterday. Didn't I just say this? I will stir shit up. And I certainly did. Everybody's talking about Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner, that's cute. Dallas Cowboys just loaded up on the defensive line. Everybody said I'm a big dumb dipshit. We'll see how it all works out for him. Now, with the things you were talking about, the particulars, first rounder, second rounder, players being moved as well in both cases. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Shrey, to piggyback off of AQ a little bit, once those bigger trades, went down, did trades like Jalen Waddle and Trey Hendrickson and Bradley Chubb, did those just become too pricey? Like, did they have a certain, pick? I know Waddle was allegedly fetching one first-round pick, but once Sauce goes for 2 and a player, did those prices get bumped up, and is that why some things didn't happen?
I think so, and I give credit to Champ Kelly, who's the interim GM down in Miami. Chris Greer gets fired. You're handed this plate, and it's basically like, well, I have no incentive to not do anything. I'm an interim GM. I want to make moves. I want to show the owner, and the value just wasn't there for them. Jalen Waddle was too good for what they were being offered, and then in the case of Bradley Chubb, you'd think that would be a very movable piece. They probably just didn't get what they thought was worth a player who could still be a good pass rusher for the rest of the season. So Jalen Phillips goes, 3rd-round pick. That sounds about right. Especially a guy in the final year of his contract. And then the other 2 was like, no, we're not going to trade them 20 cents on the dollar just to do it, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I do too. But some of these trades that end up happening for really good players are mind-blowing. Randy Moss won for what? 4th?
4th, I believe.
4th rounder. And Napoleon Harris, I believe, was the player.
Hey, Napoleon was a dog. They used to talk about him back in the day. You fear Napoleon. This guy, a lot of spite.
Favorite in New England.
A lot of it. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Everyone. It honestly was the first Napoleon they accepted in New England.
Yeah, it was like a full complex.
Yeah.
It was a full complex they put together for him. All right, we appreciate the hell out of you, Schrager. You're the man.
Oh, I love it. You guys are the best. Thank you.
You're the best, ladies and gentlemen. Peter Schrager.
Yeah, great.